welcome to the conference. How you doing, man?
Okay, thank you so much for having me. How are you doing? Thanks for the asking me. I'm good. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're
Excellent.
doing well, man.
Okay, so can I start? Or should I start my share my screen or?
Well, first things first, maybe tell us what you got in store for us, man. Tell
Little
the chat.
teaser.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm planning to share. I'm trying
ready
to
to go.
explain into my pivot. Yeah, yeah. So let me give my brief introductions to you guys. So my name is Smit Nayak, and I have the 5 years experience in cybersecurity and digital forensics. Currently, I'm working with Cyprem Software, which is located in the New Jersey. I'm from the New Jersey base. So apart from that, I have interested in digital forensics and cybersecurity domain. So I have write a multiple research paper and the book, and also publish it in the IEEE conference. And the book is on Amazon. So, and apart from that, I have also invited from multiple cybersecurity conferences such as Hack the Space at the Kennedy Space Center, NASA, beside Orlando, besides NEPA and CCon, CCon in the CCons, I regularly and repeatedly, I was invited. Just 2 days back in the New Jersey, I was in the CCon. So yeah, this was about me, and today I'm going to also represent my own research works. Then that's like the outstanding research, and I hope that you will really enjoy the illustrations. Yep.
Well, I know we're still waiting to get some of the workshop material and the curriculum sort of courseware itself over into the quick ContinuumCon platform, but that is a-okay. I know, hey, you're running the show here, so for folks tuning in, please, please, please do pay attention because this is going to be the sweet, awesome stuff that you'll be able to dive into coming soon. Maybe tomorrow, a couple days, we'll get it in there as quick as we can. But honestly, Smit, hey, we're just so happy that you're here. We'll give you the show,
Thank
my
you.
friend. The floor is all yours.
Yours.
Thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
See you soon.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen, guys? Now. Hello.
Perfect. I
Yes.
see it up here.
Good.
Okay. Yeah. So uh let me walk you through the today. I'm going to talk more about my research project, which is titled around the analyzing the WannaCry ransomware data recovery using digital forensics techniques. So this is my own research and the framework I have used, though the framework I have developed my own for the recovery purpose. So the main research, the main purpose of this research is about how you can recover your data without paying the ransom money to the attacker, right? So I know everybody from the cybersecurity background, some having some the AI and the ML. So as of nowadays, is a ransomware is create the more challenge in terms of the recovery, recovering of your data, also your recovering of your organization. So the my main focus is so how you can recover your data without paying the ransom money to the attacker, right? So this is the main my motives regarding my these sessions. So in this course, I'm going to introduce things about the types about the ransomware, the model of the ransomware detections techniques, then how you can the compare with the existing methods which are available into the internet, the proposed framework. So that the framework which I have developed my own framework that's called the 2DRA model. I will explain to the later, and about the overview of the WannaCry and the experimental analysis. I hope that in the experimental analysis I have added the all screenshot and the all the materials I will uploading into the soon into the or the portals where you have the all informations, plus you have the or the virtual files if you want to do by your own research, and if you want to do the same the forensic investigations. Okay, so let's move forward. So, what is a ransomware? So, ransomware is basically about the malicious code, so that's written to target to encrypt your data, to the sorry. So, ransomware is it is simply is a more malicious software. So that's the encrypt your data, right? So the main purpose of the ransomware is developing is about how you can log the someone's data and how you can ask the ransom money. That's why it's a name called the ransom. That's the reasons why its name is a ransomware. So once you lock someone's data and you like asking about, hey, I have locked your data, and if you want your data back, give me some kind of the dollars in the amount of the ransom monies. So let me talk more about why the ransomware. So if you see the static analysis into the last couple of years, so ransomware specialists come to the AI and the machine learning involved into the IT field. So the ransomware create the more and the most diverse attacks, such as the phishing, malware, the DDoS attacks. Uh, Also, the ransomware it's use the uniqueness of the attacks, right? So that's also targets both schools, business. Even in this my studies, I have noticed that the ransomwares always targeting to the hospital servers. So in the end of the sessions, I will ask you guys why this ransomware attacking the hospitals, specifically servers. Why? So if you just want to do the your own research, just do it. I will ask you questions into the end of the sessions. Why this ransomware attack into the hospital servers and why it's happening on the Monday morning? Why not other days? I mean, why not Tuesday? Why not Wednesday? So if you just see the statistics, the ransomware across the attacks, it's happened into the Monday morning. Okay, so further here I have explained about the like the statistics and the how the impact, the global impact of the ransomware, right? So if you see the statistics, the specialist involving after the cryptocurrency, right? The recently the colonial pipeline, the incidents, right? The that was like the biggest ransomware attack, and the ransomware they have used the sample that was the black cat ransomware. So that ransomware, it is as of now, it's a most advanced ransomware viruses is nowadays, because no one can like identify, even the forensically, they are not able to identify what are the encryptions keys they're using, what are the private keys they're encrypting, and how the encryptions, the scenario and the encryption flows is going on to encrypt the data. So as a result, the Colonial Pipelines company, they're like agree to pay the $4.4 million in the bitcoins, and that's a lots of money in the dark side attacker groups. I think the dark side hacker group it's located into the Russian base, so that's why uh, that's why this the ransomware it's more advanced, just because the ransomware code is written by their own languages, so it's really hard to decrypt the old code, and it's really hard to identify what's going on and what is exactly doing. For instance, like what kind of this file servers is going to encrypt it, and how much does it feel like spreading like this worm, and how many like the endpoint is going to be encrypted. So the ransomware model, how the ransomware model is work. So everyone having the one questions how the ransomware is working. So first, it generate the one key. So that's like if you know the file system architecture, so that's advanced generate the key pair using this asymmetric encryption schemes that's embeds the public key into the market. So it's basically, if you have the one file and the file has the one common public key, so the ransomware just remove that public key and put their own public key to encrypt the, the data. The malware encrypt the victim's data using the random symmetric keys. That's called the malware public key. So what's happening is, so if you want to decrypt your data, right, so then you need this you need to decryption keys. So that key is only how the attacker. So that's the reasons why we want to do the forensics, and why this forensics investigations plays a crucial role into the ransomware data recovery. So this procedure is encrypted to like the two data encryptions, the asymmetric encryption and the symmetric encryptions. So the malware send the one attacker and display the ransom message to the user. So it's basically send the one message like, so what the happening is, the attacker send some attachment like saying that the love letter or something like that. Hey, you have won some kind of the billions of the dollars. So after that, having the fake malicious links, it has the ransomware, the exe files. So once the user click that exe file, so that the exe is automatically downloaded from the user's computer and start encrypted, and it's also sending the all data to the attacker servers. So this is the how the ransomware models works. So let's talk more about the ransomware types. There are lots of ransomware types in the nowadays. So major common type of the ransomware is about the crypto, right? Because major maximum the major WannaCry like the ransomware is using the Bitcoin. Some of the ransomware like some of the ransomware is using the Ethereum and or other cryptocurrency. But in most of the case, currently the ransomware, the sub variant of they are using the Bitcoin for taking the money, and those all are the like the encrypted and the secure wallet they are using for making the payment. But there is no surety once you made the payment you will get your 100% data back. So here in the right hand side I have explained the more common type of the crypto locker, crypto vault, Tesla Crypt, WannaCry, Maze, the dark side, which are like the dark side, it's used for the colonial pipeline. Okay, so those are the like the most common ransomware category. So I believe so it's almost about like more than 20, and it's more than 20, right? As of now, regarding the ransomware subcategory. But the thing is, like each and ransomware subcategory have their own different behavior analysis. If you see some ransomware just like the Tesla Crypt or the crypto locker, so what they are going to do is they are not encrypting your hard drive, your primary partitions. They are encrypting your all other locations. Let's say for example you have three partitions on your computer, like the C drive is your system drive. So what they are doing is the CryptoLocker and the other ransomware, they are not encrypting your system files, they are targeting to the logical files, right? So where the user easily store their data, for example the D drive. So they are like encrypting the data for the D drive, E drive, the rest of the D drive will be the remaining same. So that time the user like didn't understand, hey, what's going on, like my system is running normally, but why my other partition got the corrupted or affected with the ransomware. So this is the things happening with the ransomware. So other viruses like the type of about the ransomware is the locker viruses, right? The wine locker, the police step ransomware, and the locker jaws. So those viruses are like the very old viruses, and it's still some the attacker is using just for the like the taking the ransom money. But I believe so the locker ransomware is it's no more existing in digital world, but the still same the crypto ransomware is still like the many attacker are using to encrypt and taking them like the ransom money for them. Okay, so how you can detect your system is got affected with the ransomware. So there are like the two techniques to identify or detect like the detections the your machines got affected with the ransomware. The first one is the static analysis. So what is the static analysis? The static analysis, like if you know about the like malware analysis, if you know more about the SCADA rules or the malware analysis, or so that you have to investigate the malware sample without the running the code in the backend. That involves identifying the uniqueness of the signatures, right? So you have to do the hex value analysis. So you have to compare the all hex value for the file system. Hey, before the encryptions, what are the hex value is going to be changed, and what are the after the decryption of the hash value, is a change or not. So that's called the like static analysis. So it's basically the machine execute the code and they transmit it into the assembly language code, which are the easier to read and understanding to gain the deeper understanding to the malware, right? So now this static analysis the process will take time consuming, because you have to do like uh, no I mean you have to investigate just for the like the basic behavior of the like the code, right? So what the hex value is getting the change or not the change, right? The file fingerprints and the virus scanning and the memory dump. So if you are like the more familiar with the anti-forensics techniques, where you the memory forensics and the memory dumps, which are the like the involving. So that time, hey, where is the like the if you take the RAM dump for the any digital file or like file for the static analysis, where you identified, hey, this is the like the encryption keys where this like the detection is going to be start, and whenever the encryption process is getting the start. The another thing is about the dynamic analysis. So what is dynamic analysis? So basically dynamic malware analysis, we have to set up the one controlized environment. In the is language, we can set up the one virtual machines where like they run the code, where we impact the malicious code uh, in the virtual machines, where the everything where the machines and the data is sanitized, so nothing will be impacted with the other another system. So the goal is to stop spreading the element infect to the other system. So the dynamic analysis is always safer as compared to the static analysis, because I know the dynamic analysis will some time taking consuming, because first you need to set up your whole environment, you need to buy the like the hardware equipment which are the equivalent, which are compatible to work with these kind of the ransomware techniques, or the ransomware sample, which are like the highly and easily processed to the module. Apart from that, the dynamic analysis is a behavior based, unlikely the static analysis. As I told you earlier, right? So in the WannaCry and some other ransomware, if you do the dynamic analysis, right? So you will identify the WannaCry impacted the all logical partitions and the physical partitions into the hard drive. The rest of the other ransomware, they are only impacted with the logical or like the other partition into the hard drive, just like the D drive or E drive. So that's called the behavior base. So here we are going to investigate the behavior. Was the behavior is going to done by this viruses. So what are the existing method for for recovering the data from once you encrypted your data with the ransomware? So first and the initial like this method is about the create and maintaining database of the key. I know it's really hard to taking the all the data and maintaining the all data set each and every time to get the data backup. You have to store somewhere around somewhere else, and you this process is little bit time consuming in even its most costliest process, where you have to like you need a one person to keep the each and every time all the backup. You can do the automated, but still this matter is take like the time consuming process. Another thing is the assisting the infected user by recovering the encrypted file, right? So in this scenario, we are like identifying, hey, where the recovering key and what are the like the files getting the encrypted. So here we are like going to show like the C is where the file is going to be encrypted or not into the ransomware encrypted file. Okay. So effectiveness, the only effectiveness against the report the ransomware is about. So if you see into colonial pipeline incidents, right? So the effectiveness is very high because they attack in our energy sectors. So the energy sector and the servers is totally encrypted with the ransomware. So that time the effectiveness is very high, because the energy sector is total completely shut it down just because of the data is compromised. So that time they are not able to having the access for the power plant. So that's create the more impact into the people and our society. So we have to like the reported the ransom as soon as effectiveness, how it's a danger to the our society. And the way lastly is about the like the requirement. So the decryption keys is reported the ransomware should be known. So that's are the like the basic requirement, and those are the like the really hard, because in the ransomware like the cases, you never see the where the decryption key is stored and how you going to decrypt that key. So for example, if you the encryption using the the RSA encryptions or 256 encryptions, that time the decryption key, finding the decryption key is really hard. So that's why the forensics methodology is getting the involved if you don't know about the, like the any kind of the decryption keys. Okay. So recovery using the regular backup. So that's method involving the tracking the file system the change and the making of the copy of the original file system backup. So I'll tell you just as I speak like earlier, right? So that's not, it's always like the time taking consuming. So and if you have the big amount of the data and if you have the giant corporation, so that's really hard to like the keeping the each and every data backup regular basis. And also if the ransomware got the attack, the systems and the encryptions file, the user can restore the system from the backup. So this scenario, let me talk more about. So like the what happened if this ransomware behave like the worm, right? So if you have another backup, so especially using the AI and the machine learning technology, so the attacker also use the AI to identify if you have any kind of this somewhere around the backup. So that's also like the searching the ransomware codes where the backup is located, and the ransomware is trying to encrypt it also the backup, right? So so uh the moral of the story is about like it's always getting the hard. So if you even if you have the backup, still there is 100% chance where you lose your data, right? So in the many organizations find it difficult to maintain the backup due to the cost and the constraint. Yeah, I mean it's always really hard to like like taking the like the manpower and putting some buying the huge capacity the hardware for taking the like the maintaining the all data as a backup. So okay, so the proposed framework of my research. So here is the main story where I'm going to turn. So for this research, I have used the autopsy software. Let me talk more about the autopsy. So if you are more familiar, if you have the background with the digital forensics, so autopsy is a free and open source tools to digital forensics platform, and just for the data recovery and the forensic investigations purpose for the autopsy is getting used. And you don't have to pay any kind of you don't have to buy to use the autopsy. That's the main advantage of the autopsy software. And it is obviously it is a open source, so you can easily download from the internet. And it's a base thing is about the like it is a UI based, so you allow to use the autopsy. And that's also commonly used by the many corporate people, even some government guy, and even if you use your own research purposes. So the let me talk more about what's the 2D array model. So 2D array, basically I have given name as a 2D array. So the first thing, detections and the recovery from the ransomware recovery. So the first I'm going to know what kind of the ransomware is affected to my virtual machines. Then I'm going to try to recovery from the ransomware attack my virtual machine. So in this research, I have created the virtual machines. Then I have like the install the WannaCry ransomware, and I have like trying to recovering the all like the ransomware affected data. I'll show you into the screenshot. I'm coming very soon. Okay, so overview about the WannaCry. So the WannaCry is firstly seen in May 27, and it's quickly spread across the world, infecting the thousand of the computers across like 150 countries. So the WannaCry vulnerabilities in Microsoft Windows is spread rapidly computer into the another without the user interventions. So if you have the like the Windows 10 or the like the lower version of the Windows, so the WannaCry easily bypass the WannaCry can easily bypass the Microsoft Windows Defender. If you know about the Microsoft Windows Defender, it has the one features called the ransomware protections. So even if you have the lower version of the Windows, uh, then it's really easy. Like it's very easy to install the WannaCry viruses on your computer, even if you have the Windows Defense and installing on your computer. Okay, so the vulnerability is known as the Eternal Blue. So which was like the vulnerability found into the Windows computer. So which was actually hacking tools developed by the U.S. nations NSA and the leaked by the group of the hackers called the Shadow Brokers. I believe so. We have the like the Hollywood movie is based on the same scenario. It's called I think Snowden. Yep, I think Snowden. If any people knows about the Hollywood movies about, have you ever watched about? I don't know, but it's a really good movie if you want to like learn more about the hacking. And so in the scenario movie they have like the mention all about like the where this vulnerability is going on, then what's going on into this vulnerability. So the tool is basically explore the weakness of the Windows servers, so that the message called the blocks the protocols which allows the ransomware and it spread quickly, and the vulnerable is computer to another to the same network. So the what's happening is, so if you have, for example, if you have 10 computer connected with the same network, so this vulnerability and this WannaCry easily can spread just like the worm. For example, my computer is connected with my company's network, and my company's network like connected with the 10 different computers. So if my ransom, like my laptop is affected with the ransomware, this WannaCry ransomware, so it's easily spread with the other like the 10 computer. It doesn't matter if the all other like the 10 computers receive the same link or not. It just because that it's spread like the worm viruses, and it start demanding the ransom money into the bitcoin. And over the time the ransom money, it's getting the increase, and the message is always like the show like the pop on onto your screen. Yep, here it is, the screen. Here you can see once you affected your viruses, so it's like the each and every time this windows pop-up message that shows on your computers. And if you see the bitcoin accepted here, they have provided the secure like the bitcoin transactions wallet link. And those wallet links are like the really hard to identify where it goes and how the attacker like they getting the money, because of they are using the like the onion routing, they are still using any kind of the Tor browsing. So that's why it's still as of now like it's really hard to investigate the where this money going on, because of they are using like the most secure the bitcoin wallet to take the money. Yep. So once your WannaCry is affected, you will see your desktop will screen like, oops, your file has been encrypted. It's like a message. So this message, like each and every time, is pop-upping every time. So that time, user got easily panic. Hey, what's going on, and how? What's my wrong with my computer, right? If the person doesn't have the too much technical knowledge, they're easily uh, we can say that they are easily made the victim from the ransomware, especially those people who are not familiar with the IT, or they don't have the computer science backgrounds. Yep. So if you see the task manager, so if you see the left hand side corner, so it show like the one utility is still running. So we can say that the attacker is continuously taking your data while still if you are connected with the internet. So if you see the left hand side, the host for the Windows task, the below, it says the load pre-born country. See, so that's the reason. Once the ransomware is installed on your computer, that's really hard to identify how you know what kind of the background process is going on and how many RAM and the CPU is taking. So if you just open the task manager and if you see this kind of the suspicious services running on, so yes, that's a ransomware. The files is taking your data. So yes, so here are the live example. This is my like the demo data where I have put it in my virtual machines, so just for the use for the taking for the encryptions data. So here is what's happening is, so if you have your data, right, so the WannaCry is basically put the extensions dot WannaCry after your file extension. So if you see the all file, the image dot jpg dot png dot WannaCry, so they create a one fake image file, just like to make the for people fool, your data is getting encrypted. Okay, so let me talk more about how you can investigate into the forensic analysis. So first, you need to set up your forensics lab. You need to install your forensic or autopsy forensics tools on your computers, and you have to investigate your case, and you have to choose your data source file. So for that, let me clear one thing for you. So for that, before you install autopsy, you need a forensics image file for the particular ransomware affected system, and those file it must be a physical data extractions files. So what's the physical extractions? Let me talk more about the physical extractions file. So if you are people from the forensics background, so there are two basic types of the data recovery from the using the digital forensics. So first thing, the logical attractions and the physical attractions. So what the logical basically extractions mean that, so the whatever data you have into your computers on your ssd, so you are just taking the clone image of the particular data, right? So in the logical instructions, you are not you are not taking any kind of the bit to bit forensics image files. You are taking the only copy of the existing file and the data which are available into the ssd or the hard drive, right? And let me talk more about like what is the physical abstractions, right? So physical abstractions basically like in the forensics world, so it is always good practice to do the physical abstractions. Why? Because the physical abstractions, you are taking the copy of bit by bit of the data. So in the physical abstractions, you are able to identify like the recovering even the deleted file and the formatted file. So it is always good practice if you do the forensic investigations, or if you want to make a forensics image file for the digital devices, so always go with the physical abstraction. So for that, if you are familiar with the Maker, if you are like having the good knowledge about the Linux space, you can use the Maker tool in the Linux, which are like the free and open source tools. And if you don't have the Maker, if you don't know into the Linux, so you can use the applique imager in Windows. And the applique imager is also like the free, and you can create your own forensics image file. And that forensics image files you have to upload into the autopsy format, and that file format, it must be .dd format or .raw format or E01. So these three file format are only available for the digital forensic investigations only, and for the physical file extractions. And the right hand side, I have explained it, the hardware like the configurations which I have used for this research. I have used the Windows 11 systems and the 8 gigs RAM. Still, even if the Windows 11 is still affected with the WannaCry. That's the really strange things. Even the Windows 11, it's still the WannaCry easily bypass the Windows Defender, the policies and all, and it easily install the WannaCry. Here I have explained it, the attached the screenshot for the autopsy. First, once you have the forensics image file, you just need to add your case, and you have to attach the particular file. Okay, so experimental analysis, yes. So keep in mind into this integration, the hash value. So if you see the right hand side of this corner, the hex value before the encryptions, the hex value after the encryptions, the hash value after the decryption. So what is going to do, I'm going to do is, so here is my mp3 file, and the another file is my png file, and the another file is it's a text file. So if you see the hex file for the both, like the all files are completely different. But if you see the hex value after the WannaCry encryptions, the hex value for the all different file extensions is getting the same, right? So if you see the hex value after the encryption, it's getting the same. So once you recover, sorry, once you recover the data, right, after the WannaCry extensions, so you will see the hex value is, it is same hex value it's as the before the encryption. So here I can say that, hey, method is accurate method for recovering the data without the paying the ransom money. And you don't have to use any kind of the highly paid forensics tools, just like the UFADE or the XRY forensics and the Oxygen forensics also. So using this my 2D RA model, so I have successfully recovered the all 14,957 files which are encrypted with the ransomware, which files compare with the document file, image file, video file, system files. So doing the 2D RA forensic investigations, I have successfully recovered the all data. So let me show you how I am able to recover. So guys, here please be keeping on the eye. Anyone tell me what's the wrong with this the red cross? Be very careful. What is the wrong with this file? If you see the file system name, so both file are the same name, but the only difference is it's the .WannaCry. So what's happening here? If you think about as a forensic expert, like just think about you are a forensic investigator. So think about it. If you see same two file, same different, like the same name, but the extension is a different. So what's happening is here, so in the WannaCry, it's simply deleting your data, and it's create the one fake file and the one fake image file on your computers. That's the reason the ransomware name is the WannaCry. So as a user, if you pay the ransom money, congratulations, you are going to be a cry. That's why it's a name as a WannaCry. Why? Because your data will be deleted and you have already paid the ransom money. So you lose your data, you lose your money, and now you have to cry. So that's why the WannaCry, the name is come. So that's the reason why this ransomware name has the WannaCry. Yeah. So the in basically the WannaCry is deleting your data. So if you know about the, like if you know this kind of the advanced methodology, and if you use this method, so at least you can identify what's going on, and does it deleting any data, and you can also identify what kind of the information is going on. So if you see the all image file, the video file on the data files, so all the red cross files are like the highly deleted. And if you see the time frame is also same. While the ransomware code is executing, it's continuously deleting your data, and the meantime same time it's also creating the same fake file to make the user fool. Yeah. If you see the file, so the same if you see the metadata files, right? So those files are affected with ransomware, but in the autopsy you can still able to read this file, and you can see the file, what's inside the file. So if you see the same file 4 underscore april underscore 11 dot jpg file, and the below the same file if you see the extension dot wannacry, so those file is all actually deleted file by the wannacry. So if you want to recover the data, just simply just right click on and to the red cross file and just extract the data. So so here you are able to recover your old data successfully. So that's the reason you don't want to pay any kind of the ransom money to the attacker. But the thing is, if you know about this kind of the process and like the methodology, still you are use the same methodology to recovering your data. And this method is not only used for only ransomware purpose. Even if you lose your data accidentally, or you deleted your data accidentally, just make a forensics image file on the applique imager or the guy maker, use autopsy for platform, and use my 2D RM model. You will get your all data without the buying any kind of the expensive tools for the data recovery and anything like that. So you don't have to pay any kind of the like the money if you lose your accidentally data. So in discussion I would like to conclude that. So within the 2DRM model, so the infected files were erased and the fresh the encrypted file which are produced to pay the ransom, and does not guarantee the decryption key or the file decryption key, and the decryption key does not guarantee the integrity because the original version is erased. I'll show you live in screenshots, right? The red cross files, the WannaCry is basically deleted the file. Then after, if you pay the ransom money, there is a no surety you will get your money, right? So even the ransomware detections, actually the virtual version and the WannaCry in the Windows, it's provide the detections file. These features monitors give us the suspicious activities for the files, like the file encryptions and the alert, and the control folder access, right? So even if you're using the Windows 11, still your data and the all mechanisms, the working mechanism of the WannaCry is are the same. It doesn't matter if you have the Windows 7, Windows XP, Windows 10, Windows 11. So it's simply deleting your file and it's create the same method. So there is nothing to do with the Windows, right? So in the conclusion, I would like to conclude this session. So the digital explorations has increased the internet service and the smart gathers, right? now the AI and the machine learning is create the more advanced technique and the more advanced version of the ransomware. Let's take an example, right? So in the colonial pipeline, even the forensic investigator, like, they are not able to easily identify what's going on to the backside, because the source code of the ransomware, they have written their own Russian language. So that's the main language barriers and all other barrier that's create the more challenging into the ransomware data recovery frameworks. And in my research, I have obtained to recovering the data from the WannaCry affected system with the Windows virtual system. But you can use the same methodology and the same process in any other things. I will upload the all data and the data files and the virtual machine file into the web portals. And yep, thank you, and I'm happy to have, if you have the questions to you guys, if you have any question, I can uh, able to answer you. Let me see the chat. Okay, okay, excellent. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Hey, Smit, just wanted to say awesome. Thank you. That was really, really well done. Do you see the questions popping up on the screen right here
Let me see.
on your little window?
Okay, yeah, let me see.
One from IT Jacopo Cybersecurity.
Let me see. Yeah.
We can help read too, if in case that helps get this together.
Yeah, sure.
But
I
he says,
appreciate it.
hey, talking about some of these Russia-based hacking groups, I know you might have said the ransomware code is kind of originated by their own language, making it sometimes tougher to decrypt. How do you mean? Is that like an instant Cyrillic, or is that variable and dynamic kind of across each sample?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, they are basically, first thing is, they are not using the English language for the written the code, right? So they have used their own language. So where, like, where the as English, like, as American, we don't understand what the software is going on, how it's going on. So that's why it's create a more challenges, and it's a time consuming process. So let's take an example. If the colonial pipeline is getting hacked and we want to start the power plant immediately, so as an initial level, what we can do is, like, because we don't know what's going on and what thing is, so that's why they are using their own language to like they create the more pressure onto the country. I hope I can answer a little bit more closer. Okay, any preference between hardware and software? Preferences between hardware and the software based on the physical disk cloning. I mean, in terms of, are you talking about the software? Like, what kind of the software we can use for cloning the physical disk?
Yeah, I don't know if they're thinking access data or FTK imager or Ncase or some of the software that might end up, hey, having a virtual or software clone of whatever disk or hard drive might have been there, or if you're using any physical machinery that will literally make a copy. I know it's probably a matter of, hey, just what's available. Is that right?
Yeah. So for this research, like, I have used the FTK imager, so where I can just put the virtual file and they created the one forensics image files. But the thing is, like, you don't have to use the NCAS or some, like, the any expensive tools just for the making the forensics image file. If you have the guy maker and the FTK imager, it's much enough for creating the any disk cloning for and the software cloning files.
Yeah, I really love if we could get a sample, whether it's WannaCry or whatever sort of ransomware
Yeah,
variant,
yeah.
even just
Yeah,
putting it in a VM and then pulling out the VMDK or VMX file, that would help streamline just as well.
yeah, sure. I will upload, but please do not use for any.
Right.
Put a big disclaimer on that.
This is
Yeah,
malware.
it's a malware. Yeah. So if you use your own computer, please try to use your VM, because it's also affected your computer.
Yeah, we just had an earlier session that Matt Wen was putting together on analyzing malware, and he had some sample that he showcased some of that work, getting inside of a virtual machine, making sure the internet is disabled, taking snapshots. So very, very good to have some safe sample handling.
Yeah.
Definitely. Another cue popped up as well too around the chats. You sound very knowledgeable. How long did it take you to get this to get this informed on the topic?
To be honest, for uh, the time consuming, it's really taking consuming, because initial level, the challenges which I have faced, finding the ransomware sample, because nowadays from the everywhere sample is getting deleted, and after that the sample, like it's really hard to even the in the Google Chrome or the Brave browser, or if you use any kind of the secure browser, so they are not able to the download the software. So the overall the time frame, it will take around like the 6 months to get the all result.
Nice. Got to invest some time into all that.
Yeah. And if you write, if you want to read more about the ransomware, just go to the Google Scholar and they go to the research gate. I have published the research paper which is called the review of the ransomware WannaCry, so where I have deeply explained it about the all process step by step.
Cool.
How do you create into the ransomware research? Wow, that's an awesome questions. So yeah, so that's a real interesting questions, and it's a personal question for me, because I think I was in India right the time. I think it's a 10 year 10 year back. The time I was working as a forensic investigator with my team. So I have seen one real ransomware attack on the hospital. I firstly I question you guys. Can you figure it out why the ransomware targeting the hospital? So so that time I was leading my team as a forensic expert. So that time mm, our state has the one multi-specialty hospital. So that time even the Monday morning same incidents happened. So the that time that was the ransomware type was the PTR ransomware. So there was a one group from the Nigerian gang. So they have attacked the multi-specialty hospitals at the time, and so they took up the all data, the patient's data, even the doctor data, PMS data. So that time the ransomware like the ransomware like completely take over the control to the servers, right? So that time we don't have any kind of the advanced forensics technologies, tools and technology. So at that time I have seen, so like I still I remember there was like two patients who died just because of they don't the doctor not able to identify the patient's data, what kind of the medicine they have to do use. So due to the medical staff, they have like given a wrong medications, so that's why the patients got died. So that time I feel that, hey, I was a for so that's not that's my responsibility. Just because of the my knowledge and my expertise, the two patients got died just because of I'm we are not able to identify what's going on, and that's the main the reasons we are not rebuild the servers, and we are not like trying to restart the all hospital servers. So it will take me personally, and that I have decided, hey, whatever happening, I'll do my 100%, and I'll do the research about the more about the ransomware, how it's work, and how I can record data, even the paying the one penny to the attacker. I don't want to pay the any money. That's why this all motives comes in my ransomware research. So anyone have any answer why this ransomware happen in Monday morning on a particular hospital? Why?
Well, goodness, my friend, I guess I could never really answer why, and but I apologize. It's just heart wrenching, but I think it's a testament to just show how important a lot of our work is. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
cybersecurity is a wild thing where we have a genuine adversary. I don't know of too many other occupations where there is the concept of an enemy that's very real, and
really.
it's silly. Hey, I'm bumping around on the keyboard playing capture the flag, oh, little CTFs for a war game or a game, but it's so crazy, you know, when you bring it to the real world, it's not a game anymore. There's real
Mhm.
threats,
Yeah,
there can
it's
be real
not a
matter
The
of
game.
life and
realities.
death.
Yeah.
So
So the thing is like in across the world, so multiple operations, and they have done the schedule under the Monday morning. So that's the reasons. So they attack on the Monday morning. So we can say there is a one kind of the terror attack. So can you imagine one hospital can like literally got affected with the ransomware? So that time, what happened with the patients? How doctor and how medical staff are like able to do the any kind of the medications, and how so that's the main reason they want to disrupt the whole country and the whole medical systems. That's why they are doing on the Monday morning.
Well, thank you for
Yep.
the reminder
Thank
of,
you.
how important a lot of this work
Mhm.
is, and thank you for helping
Yeah.
shine a spotlight on it, even if it did, hey, WannaCry, I know a couple years ago, but it's truly a time capsule for a certain kind of turning point in the industry. So
Mhm.
thank you for
Yeah.
walking through some of that sweet research and forensic artifacts, but excellent job, my friend. Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
I
Thank you, Smit.
appreciate, and I will upload the all data as soon as possible. Thank you.
And thanks
Excellent.
for making
Yep.
it on too, man.
Yes,
Definitely.
so glad you were here.
Thank you.
All righty,
Have a good
we'll
rest
pull you
of
off
the day.
stage if that's okay. Yeah, and we'll get things cruising for the next one. So thank you again.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Bye.